Well, hello, everyone. My name is MightyStream. I'm brought to you by Hope Through Navigation, and this is our H.O.O.D Recovery Services. I'm going to do the Just for Today in a meditation with you for May 31st. Earlier, I said it would be June 1st, but I totally forgot that there are 31 days. So we just have one more day in the month of May. And I just want to encourage you. Let's go ahead and get into the Just for Today for May the 31st. It reads, keep it simple. We live a day at a time, but also from moment to moment. When we stop living in the here and now, our problems become magnified unreasonably. And that is taken from the basic text, page 99. Life often seems too complicated to understand, especially for those of us who dodged it for so long. When we stopped using drugs, many of us came face to face with a world that was confusing, even terrifying. Looking at life and all its details all at once may be overwhelming. We think that maybe we can't handle life after all, and that it's useless to try. These thoughts feed themselves, and pretty soon we're paralyzed by the imagined complexity of life. Happily, we don't have to fix everything at once. Solving a single problem seems possible, so we take them one at a time. We take care of each moment as it comes, and then take care of the next moment as it comes. We learn to stay clean just for today, and we approach our problems the same way. When we live life in each moment, it's not such a terrifying prospect. One breath at a time, we can stay clean and learn to live. Just for today, I will keep it simple by living in this moment only. Today, I will tackle only today's problems. I will leave tomorrow's problems to tomorrow. Let's take a moment of silence followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer, please. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And I'm not really sure how much of that you heard. So I'm hoping that you were able to say it on your own. Now let's go ahead and get into this discussion. This is a good just for today for May 31st. I was sharing about this today in an earlier meeting on Zoom that I was in, and I was saying, sometimes my anxiety is so high. And when my anxiety is super high, it's very difficult for me to concentrate on anything other than breathing. I just have to make sure that I take deep breaths and I give myself room or space to work myself through whatever it is that is causing me the anxiety. Most of the time, I have a pretty good idea of what it is, okay? But there are some times when I'm not really sure, I'm very wound up. Maybe it's been a few days of different things taking place. And now I am in a position where I'm already maxed out anxiety wise, and I'm having to reflect on what is going on with me right now. Okay. And so I will use prayer and meditation as a way to bring myself into the center. It helps me because it calms me down. It gives me something to focus on other than whatever else is going on in my world, whoever else is going on in my world. And I just want to encourage you, because sometimes what we do is we overcomplicate situations. I remember talking to one of my aunts, one of my mother's sisters, and I was talking to her, and I was very young. I was in the program, but I was very young. I was in my mid 20s. And I remember her saying to me, you know, your issue is that you are over analytical. You analyze things so intensely that you project that this will happen or that will happen, and then you get wound up because you can't really accommodate all of those scenarios that could possibly happen. And what you do is that it paralyzes you. That fear paralyzes you. And instead of taking the action, you take no action. And I thought that was very positive. You know, I thought to myself, oh, wow, I'm over analytical. I'm a very analytical individual. But come to find out, it wasn't that, you know, that being analytical was a negative thing. But for me, it was because I was projecting so far into the future, analyzing every situation and not really giving room for spontaneity, not giving room for even faith. Right. And so there were many opportunities. I have to admit, I complicated my life so intensely by overanalyzing, complicating things, overthinking. I think one time I talked myself out of a very good job. And it was just because she asked me some questions. She asked me a question, the basic question: what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And I think I told that lady my strengths are my weaknesses. And she wanted me to expound. And so I went on to expound. And she said, you know, I'm not sure how this would really work out for you, because I can tell by listening to you that you take yourself very seriously. You take what you do and what you believe in very seriously. And you are absolutely right. Your strength is your weakness. She said, you know, this is a place where you would form attachments to individuals, but most of these people here probably have less than 5 years, maybe, to even live. You cannot have those types of attachments based on your core values and be expected to fare well here. There has to be a level of detachment. I don't think that you would be a good fit just because of that. And I just want to release you to be able to explore other opportunities. I couldn't believe it. I overanalyzed her question. I outsmarted myself, and I didn't get the job. Matter of fact, I would dare to say it's the only time that I actually interviewed for a position and I did not get the job. Most of the time I interview and I'll walk away with the job before they even interview anyone else. They've given me the position, but this was not the case. This lady was very wise, and she said, you know, you take yourself very seriously. And so that has always been something that I've needed to work on. You know, I can tell sometimes when I am talking to people, I don't know if this happens to you, but I know for me, sometimes when I am talking to people, I can see that they are not even paying me any attention, because when they asked the question, they were not serious about getting an answer. They thought it would be a yes, no, you know, do what you want to do, whatever makes you feel good. They were not expecting for a spiritual answer, and they disconnect. And I can just see it. I can see it just as I'm engaging them. This is a person that is making a mockery out of my responses. Why bother me? Why bother me? right? And so I just want to say that that's something that I realized today, that everyone is not ready. Everyone is not ready for interacting with me on that level. I still can be quite serious, but I'm also able to keep it simple. And so I just want to let you know that you too can work on that. I'm sure there are areas in your life, usually they're spun out of or birthed out of injury, but there's probably areas in your life that you're super sensitive about and that you have a tendency to complicate. But I'm going to challenge you to keep it simple. When you're engaging individuals or fellowshipping with individuals, tell yourself, before you get ready to go into a staff meeting, before you get ready to interact with someone, you know what you're going to do, self? Take your feelings off of your sleeve and tuck them in your back pocket. And when you put your hand in your back pocket and you feel your rump, tell yourself again, self, you cannot save your face and your behind at the same time. There are some battles that are just not worth the time or the energy. They're not worth the mental and emotional relapse, the spiritual relapse. I have found that the majority of people, they talk a mile a minute. They do not weigh out what they're saying or how it's impacting other individuals. They're so full of ego and self centeredness, which we know is at the core of our disease. So, certainly, it can be at the core of someone else's disease, and especially with people that don't even perceive that they have a disease of addiction or a problem. And when I remove my emotions, my feelings from my sleeve, I find that my silence is golden. I find that my success speaks volume all by itself. So I want to release you today and encourage you today. Make the last day of the month of May the absolute best that you can bring. Just bring it. Bring your best self and keep it simple. I'll look forward to talking to you tomorrow.